It's 23 past 6 on a Wednesday evening in Newcastle, Australia. It is 23 past 9 in the morning from Manchester, England. And this is the only place in the world where the French are once again leading the pack on the Super League table. And it is also where almost half a ton of misery befell St George Illawarra, and the harbinger's name was Sean Johnson. Yes, this is the Sideline Chat podcast, the one-stop shop for rugby league. Good news! Mark Henry has passed his drugs test in the lead-up. Asada has given him the all-clear. The producer's all good. He's back in the booth. I'm Connor Marcellus, your other host, and tonight we bring you your NRL Week 18 debrief. They have gone a bit haywire as of late, as I know, as you're sure, or you do know. But never mind that. Let's jump into it. And what do you know? To start off round 18, we are at PointsBet Stadium, Cronulla, where the Sharks host St George Illawarra.
Do I have to be back this week?
Yes.
Out of
The producers went to painstaking lengths when Shane Flanagan got announced to make sure you weren't taking talent enhancement drugs. We have very strong standards about that.
Yep. The Dragons. What about them? What about them? Team list straight up, though. Moses Sully's out after copying the head knock. He's taken by Tau Moga. Murdoch Masilla is going from the bench into the starting side in place of Jack Bird, who's out with a knee, with Musgrove also out with Couchman and Jaden Hunt, the new players on the bench.
Well, for Craig Fitzgibbon, he has had a luxury to virtually name an almost unchanged side that downed the Bulldogs 48-12 in round 16 before their bye. But they are buoyed by the return of Toby Rudolph for the first time since round 5, and he will take his place on the bench. But surprisingly, they have been able to included in the reserves. I must have misread that. That's
like
actually
normal.
Surprising. I would have thought Toby Rudolph would have gotten a bench spot straight away, but somehow
Hey, he could be a late change coming
Tom Hazelton will retain his spot on the bench for the time being at this moment of recording. Now, let's talk about the Dragons, because I think that's everyone's favourite subject at the moment. Last Friday, an absolute disaster in the Gong. The Warriors downing St George Illawarra 48-18. My God, they should have just thrown in the towel.
Should have bloody not turned up this whole bloody season. The rate we've been going, it should have been a 16-team comp for this season. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it'd be much better off without the Dragons.
Hey! Get stuffed. It's been a very painful year for the Dragons, and it continued against the high-flying Warriors, who are the most improved team of 2023.
Now, all the talk in the game was, the Warriors have such a bad record from Wollongong, like one win in their last 11 since they've been playing down in the South Coast. But I was looking at that team list that rocked up on Friday night. I'm like, boy, you got to be kidding yourself if you think the Dragons can win this one at home. It was just like, you got to be kidding yourself. Yes, you were kidding yourself to think that the Warriors might choke against the Dragons.
Turned out to be the other way around, didn't it? The Dragons choked like they have all season, barring 4 times.
And it was an absolute bloodbath. Your left side defensively was piss weak. It was
as normal,
absolutely poor.
As usual. But you had to say, Delano Lesniak absolutely was one of the best players on that field and destroying the Dragons' side. Well, whatever side he was on.
He was on the right wing.
Right wing.
So he was on the right Warriors' right side on attack, and he was absolutely carving. And he gets full free votes from me, just straight up. 4 tries, 1 try assist, 227 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, but the most condemning stat of them all, 5 line breaks. He makes 5 line breaks on his own. That's embarrassing.
And I think 4 of those turned into tries.
That is just absolutely embarrassing that you allow 5 line breaks from one player alone. And they just outmuscled you in the middle of the field. Sean Johnson picks up another 2 votes to add to his impressive form this year. 1 try, 2 try assists, 84 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, a line break, and 6 from 9 goals converted. And finally, the single vote to Adam Fanua-Blake, 193 run meters, 1 try assist, 2 tackle breaks, 12 hit-ups, and 3 offloads.
Good performances by all 3 of them. As we said, DWZ thoroughly deserves the 3 points. Outstanding effort.
And he's been quiet. I mean, you would say, even though he scored 8 tries in 9 games heading into last week, you would probably say he's been a little bit quiet when you look at other wingers in the Premiership.
That is true.
I mean,
but you slowly chip away at it, and that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, but you're right. The Warriors are amongst the most improved sides in 2023, and Sean Johnson is easily one of the most improved players.
He's like turned back the clock, has he not?
I think everyone agrees universally he is playing the best football of his career.
Even before he jumped shit from the Warriors over to the Sharks over here?
Hard to say, to be honest. Honestly, hard to say, considering in Johnson's time, he has played 2 final series with the Warriors.
2011.
One that went all the way to the grand final,
yeah.
and that cameo they had in 2018. If I'm looking at the Warriors at finals time, I'm not saying they could go on to the grand final and win it.
I'd say they go
But they are
second
going
week.
to be a very big threat, especially if they get a home game in New Zealand. Because I imagine that would be allowed, especially for them. If they get top 4, because they could realistically nail that. It is so tight with 12 teams and 6 points on the competition ladder separating. Anything could happen at this point.
And we're coming to the back end of the season now. There's only like 11 or 10 weeks left, believe it or not.
We're in the final 10 weeks as of now, really.
Yeah. So it's still a lot to play out for. It's still very tight. I reckon it'll come down to the last round of who finishes where.
And the question is, does Ben Hunt continue to wear the red V?
Look, they've denied him his release. They want him to honour his contract. Personally, I think because the Dragons have done that, he won't be playing at his best. He'll be putting in shit performances because he doesn't want to be there. He's even said he was going to pay $150,000 out of his own pockets to get a release, and that still wasn't enough.
Well, to be quite fair, he would still stand out amongst the Dragons because, like we said, the Dragons are playing shit.
Yeah. Look, if we still want him to be there and we want him to play his best, maybe chuck him in reserve grade for a few weeks and see how he likes it.
You're going to chuck a $1.2 million halfback to the reserves.
Well, if he doesn't want to play well for the main squad, well, chuck him in reserves. Because if he doesn't, he clearly doesn't want to be there. So he's going to play shit because we blocked his release, right? Chuck him in reserve grade.
You also have to acknowledge that the clubs, as much as the people and the fans hate the board of St. George Illawarra because of all the infighting, all the brouhaha, every time something like this comes up, everyone's going after the board. But you have to acknowledge
it's been like it since
Ben Hunt's been the real turd of this sorry saga.
And it's been like this since before even the season kicked off. Or a few weeks into the season back in March.
What? I mean,
with
why?
Griffin.
It all starts with Anthony Griffin. If he was let go at the end of last year,
which would have made more sense.
Which, even though the Dragons finished 10th on the ladder, which you would say you didn't make finals, but it wasn't a complete write-off. You still made...
This year's a bloody write-off.
Yeah, this year's been a write-off. And
you
hear borrowed time come up a lot.
Yes, he was. He was a dead man walking.
I don't know how you could have kept him on for that long. I mean, everyone says, oh, you look at his win record. He hasn't had a good win record. Well...
He's had a better win record than
in season
Paul McGregor.
1, he was on track to take the Dragons into the top 8, and they were playing a lot better than the last 2 years under McGregor.
Yeah.
But then everything went to hell when Barbecue Gate came round, when Paul Vaughan single-handedly derailed the entire season.
Yep.
Last year, it was just a matter of wins. The final 2 rounds could have gone either way with the Broncos and the Raiders in particular. if the Dragons nail a couple of those results there as well, they could have been in 7th or 8th on the ladder instead of Canberra and who else? Canberra and I'm trying to think. Was it the Roosters? That's it.
Yeah.
The Roosters is that ended up. No, Souths actually were in 7th, and that's right because it was Melbourne, Canberra 5th versus 8th. Then was the Roosters, Souths 6th versus 7th.
That's right, because it was 2 weeks in a row where I had Roosters and South play.
Exactly. That's
2 weeks
exactly
in a row,
the way
yeah.
it went. And so, do I think he's going to end up at the Titans soon? We'll get through to the end of this year, I reckon, but he's not going to want to stay on any longer, I think.
No.
The
But
longer,
he's going to go to the Titans on less money.
well, all the way the NRL see it, he's got to be paid at least $1 million a year. And if the Titans think they've got that sort of money,
The Titans have been offered, from what I've heard and read, the Titans are going to offer him $900,000 a year. And he's on $1 million now, so he's going to take a pay cut.
well, we'll see how that one pans out. We've really sort of gone distracted from how long we try and keep these things condensed.
Oh,
Now,
well.
48-10, the Sharks' last start victory over the Bulldogs. Nico Hines just needed that win. He honestly needed a performance like that to really get himself reasserted. And look, the Bulldogs were running into the breach. And you look at how young that spine looked like. Perham, Oluwapu, Burton, and Marnie. It's not exactly the Panthers.
Probably the most experienced player in that spine.
Well, I mean, you got Burton that's played a little more than 50 NRL games. Marnie's a 100 gamer. And then you got Perham, who's a utility that's floated around a couple of years, less than 50. And Oluwapu, who's just literally coming on this year.
Yeah. So, yeah, Marnie is the most experienced in that spine, followed by Burton.
The odds were always going to get stacked against the Dogs. And with all the players that we had missing as well.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse. But at the end of the day, Hines got the 3 votes for that performance. 236 running meters, 2 try assists, 3 tackle breaks, 3 line break assists, an offload, a goal line dropout, and 8 from 9 goals converted, just short of the 50. Not that it really mattered either way. No. Britton Nickera, it was game 100 for him at the time. He picks up 2 votes, 1 try, 112 running meters, 4 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, and 10 hit-ups. And the Peter Garrett cold hero of the Sharks with 1 vote, Tom Hazelton, 1 try off his first touch, 78 run meters, 5 tackle breaks, a line break, and a hit-up.
Solid effort there. Look, the Sharks were seriously in control of that game from the get-go. Sorry to say it, but...
And even with Carl Flanagan, who was actually playing halfback for Canterbury on this day, because Burton got called up to Origin, it was still a disaster. They just saw how pear-shaped our backline defensively, because most of the attack went down our left side defensively. It just was a poor situation all around. And look, you can't blame Oluwapu and you can't blame Flanagan. It was a poison chalice.
Yeah.
All around. And the forwards, they just couldn't get any momentum whatsoever. It was a poor situation to be thrown into there. Now, the Sharks will be well rested. They have the luxury of bringing in one of their more trustworthy forwards back into this.
Yes.
At any given time against the Dragon side that is practically on the verge of collapse.
Yep, as far as we haven't already. Can we just get the wooden spoon now? Just give it to us.
Well, it's either you or the West Tigers, so you got to keep that in mind. But look, the Sharks are going to win this 13-20. I think
that's been lenient, dude.
It is lenient, but I still think it's a realistic possibility.
Mate, the Sharks are going to absolutely flog the Dragons. I'm going to say Dragons. Well, sorry, not Dragons.
You're going to say the Dragons?
I was going to say 21 the Dragons.
Oh, yeah, sure. In your delusional vision.
No. The Sharks are going to win 21 plus and put probably 50 points on us.
As long as the Sharks just manage to hang on to the ball, because we know their error rate can be rather high, which affects their completion rate. But if they complete high, I can see tries just rolling off Hines' boot.
And being at Shark Park at home, it's going to be a bloodbath for the Dragons.
Yeah, I just think the Sharks comfortable at home. Now, To the Go Media Stadium in Auckland, we have the Warriors at home to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And unfortunately, Jacob Host will not take part after he got suspended for 3 weeks. So Michael Cheekham will come into the starting back row with Shaq Mitchell joining the bench with Jed Cartwright and Peter Mamazelos dropping out for Jason Demetriou.
Home side Mitch Barnett is making his welcome return from suspension, and he's taking the place of Murata Niokore in the 17 after he got a 3-match suspension for a high tackle. Josh Curran is named to start in the second row, and as I just personally mentioned, Barnett coming off the bench, and that is otherwise unchanged from last time's out thrashing.
Well, we all know how well the Warriors played, but my God, how bad were the Rabbitohs?
Yeah, they weren't the best.
We're talking a 31-6 flogging at the hands of the Cowboys, who up until now have been up until a couple of weeks ago, have been playing atrociously.
Yeah.
Like, no chance of making the finals. But now
They are in a conversation.
they have turned it around on a dime. Ever since they lost 66-18
to
the Tigers.
Tigers, yes.
But they have just turned it around on a dime. It is unbelievable. You could only just watch the second half to appreciate how well the Cowboys have been playing, because the first half,
Exactly.
it was a snore fest. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. One try, and then what does Scott Drinkwater do? Right on the halftime siren. He stops a field goal. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Have you not heard of the trend of first half field goals where you go on to lose the second half?
Well, this one didn't happen.
And 5-0. 5-0.
That's a thrashing in a soccer game.
That's a scoreline from 1971. 5-0 is probably, again, it is just one try when there were 3 and a conversion. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's 5-0 is just like exactly the same as a 6-0 scoreline. Just up the try by 1 point. That's all it is.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And they went on with it, and credit to them, though. I thought South would have played a lot better
With Cody Walker
with
coming
Walker
back.
back, but that did not seem to be the case whatsoever.
No, it was absolutely abysmal from the Rabbitohs defensively, especially Scott Drinkwater. Just, you have to marvel at how well Scott Drinkwater has been important to the Cowboys this year. When good times and bad, once again, leading the way, 231 running meters, 3 try assists from him alone, 11 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, a goal line dropout, and as of course mentioned, that 1-point field goal.
Yep. He's starting to come on. And then when obviously he's on and the team around him are on, the Cowboys go well.
But it is incredible also how you can leave Carl Felt out and the Cowboys
Still go
don't
well.
skip a beat.
No.
You have Semi Velame, Fijian international, coming, and he's just rocketing up the Cowboys' try scorers chart.
100%.
He proved it again.
Yeah. And we knew what it was like when he was at Canberra, mind you, so we know what he's capable of.
And then you had the Origin contingent back up. You had Nane. I think Jeremiah Nane probably had another one of his better performances. Like, we often criticize Nane for not running enough when you look at other devastating back rows. But
He's a bloody try scoring
meters
freak. Yeah.
is no slouch. He had a better performance. Cotter's improved out of sight from earlier in the year. Holmes, Holmes is Valentine Holmes. He's practically the game's best centre at this point.
Exactly, you're right, yep.
And even Fine Fuiaki scoring a try underneath the sticks. The Rabbitohs just couldn't contain the Cowboys.
No way they couldn't.
As simple as that. The forward pack was just too good, even without Taumalolo.
Yeah.
Which is the scary thing. This forward pack, without Taumalolo, 5 tries to 1 against the Rabbitohs.
Imagine what it would have been like if he was there.
Oh, I think it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot
Honestly,
worse.
it could have been a lot worse. Now, the Warriors are back in Auckland once again, and outside that one loss to the Broncos and Napier, very solid record at home.
Yeah.
To
Especially
couple with
this
their
season.
strong away record abroad as well.
Yeah. The Warriors, especially more this year, they've been better at home than what they have been in. I mean, they're still really good at home when they've been actually at home over the last few years. But really this year, I don't think they've had a couple losses. I know they lost to the Roosters.
Yeah, they lost to the Roosters. Yeah, in atrocious weather conditions.
And I think that's the only loss they had over going
In
media.
Auckland, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a very, very good record that they've got.
But
And I think that will continue on this week
yeah,
against Souths.
Look, even if they reinforce the bench with the size of someone like Shaquai Mitchell, and if they can get Cook and Murray going early, I think you're just looking at the Warriors pack there. Sean Johnson will have an absolute luxury to run with.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Fanua Blake, Jackson Ford, a smart buy in of itself from St. George Illawarra.
Oh, yeah. And he carved up trouble, didn't he, against the Dragons? One of our ex-players doing damage yet again.
Look, Lachlan Ilias is lost at the moment. I don't know what's going wrong at South Sydney, but considering they got all that hype when they were really on top 4 at the moment. But right now, they've been sliding ever since they lost to Parramatta.
Mm.
I mean, you can just see it. And you can't necessarily square it all on a Latrell Mitchell. Anyone else who's in that side has to take some ownership.
Oh, yeah, they definitely will.
And I'm really not seeing anyone who's taking ownership at the moment. Even though they got Tom Burgess back, Walker's going to be better for the run with a second game from injury. But Ilias needs to step up. And Blake Taaffe, well, I don't think you can really ask anything more from Blake Taaffe at the moment. But
No.
I got a good feeling about the Warriors at home.
Yeah.
I look at them after they annihilated the Dragons, and it's like, Souths are not in a healthy position, and the Warriors at home is a very tough prospect, especially this year.
I think this will be a sellout crowd.
Oh, all home crowd games for the Warriors, believe me, are going to be sellouts.
If Souths are in a better position, then it could have been a lot closer than what this is going to be. But the Warriors have been way too good this season. They're, like I said, been a surprise packet this year. Well, the most improved team this year. I'm going to say Warriors win this one 7-12.
Sean Johnson will just be too good for the Rabbitohs to handle, especially when he's given time and space for a forward pack like that. I think the Warriors 1-6 get home over the Rabbitohs and continue to build on their resume.
Fair enough. Narrow win.
Now, this is going to be the big one. From Marvel Stadium at Docklands, we will have the Melbourne Storm up against the Penrith Panthers.
Panthers, they welcome back Toto, Crichton, Luai, Martin and Yo. So that means Jermaine Salmon goes back to the bench. Tyrone Peachey, Tom Jenkins, Zach Hoskin and Matt Eisenhuth are out. In otherwise unchanged lineup.
2 inclusions for Craig Bellamy's side from the win against Manly last week. Cameron Munster returns to the side after being ruled out with what the media has dubbed Origin-gitis or Caxtonitis. I can't remember which one they went.
Probably Caxtonitis.
And Tui Kamakamefa has been included on the bench as well. So, of course, the Storm, big winners over Manly in Melbourne, running out 24-6 winners over the Sea Eagles. Whilst the Panthers had to do it the hard way, but got the job done against the Knights, 20 points to 12.
With a B-string team. Now, you would think that, Newcastle did well to head on, and then lose by 8 points. But you got to think, that was a Penrith B team. Yes, they still had, some good players.
No Origin stars.
No Origin.
And no Nathan Cleary.
Yeah. So, how could Newcastle not beat them when Newcastle have, over the last few years, 5 Origin players and an England international winner, and they still could not beat a B-side Penrith.
I just find
where is it? Penrith are still really good, or were Newcastle shit?
You just have to look at the systems Penrith have designed, especially over these last 5 years. They have effectively developed a near, I'm not saying it's completely invulnerable, but it's a near foolproof system that should any or all of the Origin and contingent, which just happens to be all their best players, are ruled out, they've got a system in place that they can just bring up another junior or someone. and that they've purchased strategically in the off-season, like a Jack Cogger, for instance. Stick him in there and just...
And he's been going pretty
they
well.
just
Jack
run
Cogger,
the playbook. No difference.
I'd
It
just
is
say
absolutely no difference.
Jack Cogger has filled in pretty nicely for Nathan Cleary.
Well, it's the same way Sean O'Sullivan filled in for Cleary last year when
That
he was
is
suspended
true.
for the last 5 rounds.
Yes, very true. But the only thing that lets Cogger down is his goal kicking a little bit. A little bit.
Well, it's not exactly an exclusive thing. There's
No.
a lot of other first-string kickers that are struggling. Jackson Hastings, of course, one prime example. He could have kicked the Roosters to defeat. The Knights to victory. It was against the Roosters. He could have easily kicked them to victory, but his goal kicking just let him down when it mattered most.
That's true. But the Panthers in the B team just unbelievable still.
But it
It
just
wasn't
shows
an
you how
arse flogging.
important, how Dom Young is to Newcastle. How important he is, because he can get you out of trouble, and then when he gets you into the clear, anything can happen. Either he scores or he can set you up to score.
Yeah. Either by putting a grubber kick through or passing or...
Well, the way he set up Kalen Ponga, and it was tight. It could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, Penrith just found a way to win.
They always do.
That's just laid out exactly. And Tyrone Peachey had an absolute blinder in the centres on the left
So
side.
he's got dropped this
2
week.
tries, 1 try assist, 208 running meters, 6 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, and an offload, tormenting Dane Gagai as his opposite number.
Well, Dane Gagai couldn't handle... He had a bit of handling issues. Dane Gagai, he couldn't really... Well, he didn't get much ball either, but when he did, he just couldn't hang on to it. But yeah, Tyrone
And
Peachey...
Jack Heverington getting sent to the sin bin didn't necessarily help Newcastle's cause either.
No, it certainly didn't. But I have to say, it's a bit unfair. Tyrone Peachey, the such he just gave, and then him getting dropped altogether. Like, at least put him on the bench in like the 14 or something.
Well, Ivan Cleary has set the side the way it is. And look, the Peach will understand. He's filling gaps where it's necessary. And he knows the moment Targo or Crichton go down injured, he will probably be the first man called up to do the job.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
He understands his place, that only injury or suspension will be his way to stay in the side.
Or Origin.
Or Origin in this case. But look, he's playing a lot better than he has previously for both the Titans and the Tigers, which is really saying a lot at this point.
Well, it was the Tigers and Titans. They're not they weren't
They
the
weren't the
flashiest.
flashiest sides over the last 5 years.
No. And then when he was at Penrith before that, again, he was playing pretty good.
Now, Melbourne, on the other hand, my God, our Coates.
I reckon,
What State of Origin can do for a bloke? Honestly, because before game 1, Coates wasn't even in the conversation of starting on the flanks. It would have been Selwyn Cobbo, Murray Taulagi, that would have been the first choice picking for anyone outside of Billy Slater, or even the Hammer, because many people would have assumed Gagai would still go a spot in the centres with Holmes until the big call was made. But since he got picked for Origin, you just notice the difference in Xavier Coates.
Exactly right.
I mean,
and just saw the performance on the weekend against Manly, what he has done since coming from Origin, back from Origin.
he picks up the full 3 votes for his aerial acrobatics. His
Was
air
that his
show.
third try when he gone over the corner post?
He only scored 2.
Oh, sorry, his
But
second
2 tries, 208 run meters, 8 tackle breaks, and 2 line breaks. And then this man is a man mountain. 2 votes going the way of Nelson Asofa Solomona. 1 try, 158 running meters, 6 tackle breaks, a line break, 14 hit-ups, and an offload. And this was Bellyache once again doing his masterclass. He puts Nelson on an edge.
Yes.
With no Eli Katoa.
Yep.
And he lets Nelson run right. And it's just
And the footwork that
unbelievable.
Nelson has got as well, unbelievable.
We always think of Nelson Asofa Solomona as one of the real toilers of the Melbourne Storm forward pack. But we forget he's got try-scoring ability, and you put him from the middle of the ruck to the right edge, look out, because you're going to get trampled by Big Nelson.
A bloody oath you are. He's a key player in that Melbourne side.
And Manly...
Yeah, nah, they weren't even in the contest. Well, I'll take that back. Looked like they were going to be in the contest early on, but it was like tight score lines. But as soon as Melbourne got their second, it was like shut the gate, see you later.
Yeah, just defensively, the Melbourne Storm grounded Manly out of it. Look, Garrick at fullback, a misshaped back line completely. Cherry Evans, don't think he backed up too well from Origin, and despite winning the series again.
Uh-huh.
But going down to Melbourne is just a daunting prospect you do not want to engage with. And unfortunately, Manly got the sharp end of the stick once again.
It was a bit of a different game than the last time these two played at Brookie.
Now, this is going to be a blockbuster from Docklands, considering that in a matter of weeks, the FIFA Women's World Cup will be occupying Amy Park for some time. So this will be the first of the World Cup affected scheduling, shall we say, with alternative venues proposed.
At least they've got alternate venues to use, hey?
Now, Origin Stars back, this makes Penrith 10 times better, even though they're still down Nathan Cleary.
Yeah.
And their rivalry with the Melbourne Storm is probably, outside of South and Parramatta, their number one rivalry they've got.
100%.
This is going to be the tightest match of the weekend, but you can't look past the Melbourne Storm at home. I think this will go really down to the wire on this one. 1-6 win. I reckon it's going to take a Munster field goal to win it.
Ooh, a Munster field goal.
I'm calling it a Munster field goal.
Well, it's been a while since we've seen League play at Docklands at Marvel Stadium. It has been played there before, but I don't know how long ago. But I think Melbourne will still come out on top 1-6. It's going to be a very tight contest.
We'll see whose premiership potentials go on the line here.
I think it's going to go into Golden Point.
Now for the first of the Westpac Super Saturday triple header. It's the Canberra Raiders once again at home to the Gold Coast Titans. Now, not Justin Holbrook after he got off the chop. So this will
surprisingly.
Yes, we will touch more on that, but this will be the first away trip or second away trip to the nation's capital for caretaker coach James or Jim Lenihan. And he has had the luxury of relatively no forced changes apart from the added bonus of welcoming skipper Tino Fa'asuamaleaui back into the side after he was rested on Sunday in the 18-12 upset win against the Broncos, with Jamin Jolliffe going back to the bench and brother Isaac Fa'asuamaleaui making up the 18th man.
For the Raiders, Josh Papali'i is out with a hamstring issues. That's a big loss there. Pasami Solo moving into the starting side with Ata Miarate joining the bench. Otherwise, no other changes to the side that went over the Roosters by 2 points.
Very lucky the Raiders were able to hang on for that game. But let's talk the Titans first. They've just knocked off a top 2 team.
Unexpectedly.
No one gave the Titans a chance against the Broncos. We certainly didn't.
After sacking their coach.
Very bizarre.
You know, just before we get on that, Dragons sacked Anthony Griffin, then won. Gold Coast sacked Holbrook, then won. There seems to be a bit of a theme going on.
A reoccurring pattern, to say the least, but one that is not exactly sound.
No. But yeah, no one saw Holbrook getting sacked. And on the same day, in the same announcement.
In the same breath, we're going to announce Des Hasler as our head coach.
So they sacked Holbrook, then announced the interim coach, and announced next year's coach, all in the one statement.
In the one breath.
And it is, how quiet was that kept?
No one. I swear to God, no one was talking about Des Hasler ending up on the Gold Coast.
No.
The fact that the Titans managed to keep this quiet for so long.
That's why it's a shock to the system.
I know, right? I mean, I feel sorry for Holbrook because they were running ninth. They were one win outside the top 8. And I mean, he said it so himself in the Telegraph afterwards. Had he been in second, and this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I think from what I've heard from Gordon Tallis on NRL 360 said, I'm pretty sure it was Tallis on that. They must have had like a position where they wanted to be by X amount of
Yeah,
rounds.
20, 30 goals of at least winning 2 premierships.
Yeah, well, that too. But yeah, having been in this position by this round or whatever, obviously it hasn't happened. So, but yeah, the 2030.
It's so cold. The way it played out, just like, so he rocks up the training at the Titans training ground, right? The CEO, Steve Mitchell, comes along and says, "Hey, Justin, you got a minute, mate?" He's just be like, yeah, nah, mate. Yeah, I can come in for this impromptu meeting, right? And he's just like, so, yeah, nah, we're not going to continue working with you. We're going to terminate you as of right now. And then Justin's just like, Struth.
Yeah.
It's just like performance.
Although, in saying that, though, at the start of the year, people were saying that 3 coaches could have gone this year. I think we might have mentioned it. Griffin, Holbrook, and
Adam
O'Brien.
O'Brien.
But, we've just gone off topic a little bit. I've heard 2 names linked to Newcastle. Paul McGregor and Michael Maguire. Is that a sign of Adam O'Brien maybe getting the chop as well?
Well, we don't know.
Not during the season, maybe the end of the season?
If Newcastle don't make the finals, because you've got to remember, they're still in the calculation, like the Titans,
and
they're
they
one of 12 teams.
Made the finals the last 2 seasons, Newcastle.
2 of the last 3.
2 of the last 3.
But nothing
But
impressive.
knocked out in week 1 in both of them.
I think it would depend on a whole host of circumstances playing out and results, ultimately.
Yeah. But yeah, this one was out of the blue. Literally out of the blue.
No one was talking Des Hasler. Maybe
No.
New South Wales head coach, but not now.
No, not now, no way.
Yeah, Desi just... Ultimately, the Titans have made the call and they think this man can deliver us a premiership.
But that's how coaches getting sacked and announcing one should be. Unlike the Dragons, what drags on for weeks and months and feels like years. Just do it short, sharp, one hit, bang, here you go, see you later.
It makes you wonder how long the Titans were actually talking to Des for.
Don't know. I honestly don't know.
Honestly, makes you wonder.
Obviously, it has been a while in the making.
Now, the Titans, of course, one of the upsets of the round. I mean, it was tight. This game was absolutely tight for what you would expect for a Southeast Queensland derby.
100% they were. But the end result was not what anyone expected.
No.
There's memes going around saying, don't give Broncos day games on a Sunday. Stick them to a Thursday
Confused
night.
onga bonga noises.
Yeah, keep them on a Friday or Thursday night where we can actually win games.
As much as that annoys everyone that the Broncos are getting all the Friday night games.
Yeah, but still, Broncos don't tend to play well in daytime games at Suncorp.
And look, the Titans performed absolutely first class. And there's one man that stands out above all others, and that was David Fafita. He was an absolute kryptonite to the Broncos' right side defense. One try assist, 135 running meters, 9 tackle breaks, a line break, and 2 offloads. And you got to remember, this bloke was backing up from 50 minutes of Origin football just that Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, this game was on what? A
Sunday
So he had a
afternoon.
few days to...
Yeah, 4-day turnaround at
yeah,
least.
so that's fair enough.
And then he comes out and does that. Kieran Foran, of course, was playing him perfectly. How you should be using David Fafita. He was engaged. He was really causing Adam
but the
Reynolds a
question
whole
is,
host
can
of
they
grief.
back that up?
Well, that's the question. You look at Canberra's performance now, switching the gears up. They had the Roosters' number early. They were able to run in 3 tries to 0 within the first half an hour.
It was seriously a tale of 2 halves. Canberra only got 1 penalty goal in the second half, and the Roosters piled on the points. Whereas Roosters got no points in the first half, and Canberra got 18.
And look, that wasn't the exactly performance James Tedesco was wanting to put in after another disappointing Origin loss. But Jamal Fogarty just put him under pressure, and he unfortunately didn't back it up. With Jack Whiten and Matt Timokor being the beneficiaries of some very good takes. And I mean, Whiten in the air, just put the bomb up. Whiten's going to be chancing
And
his arm.
You have to see Canberra now that... Oh, yes, they lost Josh Papali'i to Origin and that. Wait, he played Origin, yeah.
No, he's retired from Origin.
That's right, he has
But
too.
he's still eligible to play for Samoa.
Yeah, But during the Origin period, Canberra weren't affected. I think this is the first year Canberra have not been affected from Origin in a few years because they've been
in the same way a Penrith or a Melbourne might be affected.
Yeah, because years gone by, they've had Papali'i and Whiten gone. And 1 year even Kotrick in one season.
Yeah, that did happen. Nick Kotrick ended up playing for Origin, and was it 2020 he got picked?
I think so. But yeah.
Yeah, because he never played Origin for the Dogs.
Nah. This is like Canberra through Origin period. Now they can get through it.
It's like the Warriors, really.
They were going very, very well. Good time to capitalise when other teams got players out.
Joey Manu practically dragged the Roosters kicking and screaming back into that game. I mean, one try just before half-time and then very early into the second half to make that scoreline. Just a little bit nervous for Ricky's blood pressure.
But they held on.
And then Lindsay Collins storming through with 5 minutes to go. I reckon Ricky would have been throwing chairs around it at Allianz.
He probably would have been. But they somehow hung on.
And look, with Papali'i going down, which good news for Canberra fans, it's only 2 weeks he'll be missing with that hamstring injury.
That's good.
But Corey Horsburgh stood up when it mattered most. 145 running meters, 4 tackle breaks, 17 hit-ups, 3 offloads, and a whopping 50 tackles with only 1 miss. One miss from 50 tackles.
Unbelievable. He needs to step up in this game, and he's proven in that game to maybe have an Origin debut.
Well, the word I'm hearing at the moment, because Tom Flegler's just been ruled out with injury, Horsburgh is well in the frame for game 3.
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind.
Queensland have won this series, so they can make raft changes if they want to.
Well, enforced changes because of injury. No, yeah. I reckon that they'll bring Horsburgh in, and in the same vein that Reece Walsh is going to miss out on game 3 after that tirade at the referee, which got him 3 games for contrary conduct.
Apparently it wasn't meant to be at the referee. It was at one of the players.
Well, apparently David Fafita disproved that narrative that Walsh was trying to set up.
I don't know. Anyway, read into what
a major backfire from Walsh. AJ Brimson is nipping at the heels of literally everyone in the Maroons camp at the moment. He and Horsburgh, I reckon, straight into game 3.
You wouldn't even play Ponga?
No, Ponga's ruled himself out, and Brimson's the next best fullback they've got.
True.
Yeah, they're going to be there. The Titans, things are going well for them.
There was a little bit of chatter too. I don't know how much chatter, that maybe Tabuai-Fidow could switch to fullback for Origin.
No, I wouldn't. He's been playing...
The way he's been playing...
He scored 3 tries and 2 Origins from the centres.
The way he's been playing in the centres for Queensland, you wouldn't.
It's like Greg
Inglis.
Just
that little bit of a
It's like Greg Inglis. He's a gun. He was a superstar fullback for the Rabbitohs all throughout his time when he was playing there. But then you stick him in the centres, he went to another level.
Yeah. Nah. There was just that little bit of chatter, but it won't happen. It'll be AJ Brimson, fullback.
Grimo, easily. And he'll have an opportunity as well as Horsburgh. This is a premature Origin edition right here for both of them in the nation's capital. 100%. They will have the opportunity to show to Billy Slater, one, I can be the fullback for Queensland with no Walsh. And the second part, I want to be on that bench and part of your middle rotation to replace Tom Flegler.
Yeah. 100%.
And given the Raiders' recent home record, it's gotten better in recent weeks after the shaky start. And I think Canberra at home, they will need to really mark up on David Fafita before he does even more damage.
But what's the Gold Coast record in Canberra, though?
Not good.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Canberra at home for me, 1-6. It's going to be a close one, but I think Fogarty's kicking gets everyone home.
Look, I'm going to say Canberra win this one, 13 points to 20. Yeah, I don't see Gold Coast doing well down there.
Now,
for some reason.
We have the North Queensland Cowboys up against the West Tigers.
Well, we all know what happened.
66 round 2, why not?
For the away side, Dane Laurie is in at 5'8" for the first time, or his first game since round number 4. So that pushes Star Toa to the centres and Asu Kapawa to the bench with Stefano Oitukamano returning, meaning Pole reverts to the bench.
Todd Payton has the luxury of naming the 7-17 that dispatched the Rabbitohs with ease, with Jason Taumalolo presently listed as the 18th man. Now the West Tigers, their last outing, because they had the bye, was in round 16 against the Melbourne Storm. We haven't really talked about that.
No, we haven't.
Until now. 2 words. 2 words you can really sum this game up.
One way.
Alex Twal.
Ah, yes.
My God.
Yes.
I am so
finally
glad.
saw it.
I was so glad that I was able to watch that moment.
Same here.
And just be
And
like,
Bossy calling it. Unbelievable.
he just made that moment so good. I mean, sure, the Tigers only scored 1 try.
But it was
it
the
didn't
guy.
matter.
Was it 116 games?
116 games. And he finally scores his first try
And
in
it
the
was
NRL.
right place, right time.
Oh, yeah.
And knocked back.
You
and
honestly wondered how he would score his
it
first.
could have been David Clement that score, but he passed.
Or ruined it. He could
Or
have easily
ruined it.
ruined it. It'd just be like,
But I think
he could
Clement
have
just
easily been
passed
the
it
villain
back.
of Campbelltown, David Clemmer, had he touched that ball and knocked it on.
Yeah. But no.
But you'd swear the Tigers just won the grand final with the way they celebrated that.
The whole stadium erupted. Like,
And
I
rightfully
think
so.
even Melbourne supporters erupted. Mate, even I was. I was like,
I was just
wow.
like, Mike,
we
he's done
finally
it.
saw it.
I was like, that's Alex Twal. He's done it.
Finally, 116.
I honestly
games.
felt good after seeing that.
Yeah.
Seriously, you just felt good for the bloke.
Yeah, he's been so close so many times. He's put the ball down a few times, but got overruled by the bunker.
That was criminal. And you were thinking, oh, don't you dare do this again.
Vossi was saying, I was like, oh no, not again, not again. But no, it finally got confirmed, and wow, it's just a feel-good moment so far in 2023.
That was really the only moment the West Tigers could enjoy, because other than that, the Melbourne Storm were just too clinical once again.
Yeah.
From start to finish, they dispatched the West Tigers with relative ease.
And guess which dumbass tipped the Tigers? Me! In thinking that if they could beat Penrith, they could beat Melbourne. But no.
Yeah, your logic is perverse and it is not sound
I've got no
whatsoever.
logic, okay?
Look, the Tigers were digging their guts out just to try and get something. That's the one thing. The Tigers were in this game,
They were.
but they at the end of the day, they were just outclassed by Melbourne. And that's just the lesson of this. Even if you can try your guts out, Melbourne will just put you into the dirt.
Melbourne just step it up again, and you might be able to contain them and just go, oh, here you go. Here's another try against you. Oh, another one. And then you're not losing.
And William Warbrick, how good is this bloke coming along nicely? When you talk about Union converts down at the Storm.
Bloody oath.
4 tries, 177 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, and 3 line breaks. You talk about rookies. This bloke,
Contention for Rookie of the Year?
oh, I think
It could be.
age-wise, he's probably not in that fray, and to be honest, but considering this is his first full year of professional rugby league, this is impressive.
100% it is.
And if the Kiwis do end up playing that Tri-Nations tournament at the end of the year, because we have not heard anything about that, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the right wing come the Kiwis' first test match of the year. I would honestly think he's going to earn a Kiwis tap up on the shoulder, as well as playing for the All Blacks in Rugby Sevens.
Wow.
How many times have you heard of Kiwi cross-code stars?
Not
Who've
often.
played for both the All Blacks and the Kiwis. Probably last time it was Sonny Bill Williams.
Yeah. But to be honest, yeah. But yeah, he's absolute flying this year with Warbrick, and good on him. Good on him.
Yeah, it's absolutely good. And look, the Tigers, they need to find something at least. Of course, Talon De Silva, very good dummy half, especially with no Api Coruscant for at least another 3 weeks at least, with his broken jaw.
At least
Also,
3.
another debutant that's a local junior who is always good. for Tim Sheens and Benji Marshall moving forward. Dane Laurie, interestingly, Gus Gould once tweeted that he reckons Laurie is actually a 5'8" rather than a fullback.
Don't know. I don't know about that one. But because he's obviously being part of the reserve grade this year, it's going to get a bit of a hard read on how well he's going to go. And he mostly does play fullback, so who knows what he's going to be like.
Well, he's got an
But
opportunity.
he is out of favour at Tigers. We all know that.
Yeah, we do know that. I would not be surprised if someone was in advanced negotiations with him at the moment.
Maybe the Dragons.
They could do a lot better. And Laurie can do a lot better than St. George Illawarra.
True.
He should be going to the Dogs. That's where he should be going.
Everyone's
Anyway,
Dogs.
the last time these two sides met, the Cowboys practically suffered their worst defeat of all time.
And the Tigers have their best win of all time.
This is honestly, if you put Balmain, Western Suburbs, and the joint venture club that existed since 2000 all in one line, that was, the greatest result in 115 years of rugby league for either one of these sides.
Exactly.
All up.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't anticipate a repeat performance like that. I don't think the Tigers can take inspiration from that result.
Well, no. It could be the other way around, Dave. They could get 66 put on them.
I very much doubt it, but the Cowboys are in a much better mind frame, and they have practically a full-strength squad minus Taumalola, but it didn't really affect them.
Yeah, he could be a late inclusion, Taumalola.
And that's the thing. He could be included late in the piece, but
which could
Tom
make it a
Payton
lot
has
worse.
managed to turn the ship around very quickly. And North Queensland are in a better place than what they were.
Only a few weeks ago, we were writing the Cowboys off.
Well, to be fair, everyone was writing the Cowboys
and
off.
we were like saying, oh, they need to really pull the finger out. They want to make the finals, and they weren't, and they were losing that. And all of a sudden, bang, hello.
They're running 10th at the moment. Their last 5 games has them at a 3-2 on the form line. And that's how well North Queensland have been playing. And you look at it, when they last met, and this was probably 2 months ago they met, but all the way back in round 12, they just got their worst result. Oh, we'll just bring up round 13, actually, just to make it fair. They're running 16th. They are running almost second last to only the Dragons, who are the wooden spooners, after the Tigers just basically wiped off a large portion of their for and against. And so to bring it
and that was
forward
right
to
back
now,
in round 13, 12.
well, I just went round 13 because,
Yeah.
a round 12 would have only
So,
affected the results of them.
nearly 10 weeks later, well, not quite 10 weeks later, and the Cowboys...
6 or 7 weeks later, North Queensland's in a much better position than what they were.
What a massive turnaround.
8-8 at the moment. They can easily go into a positive winning record at the moment, and maybe jag a top 8 spot for the moment, but their for and against still needs a little bit of work.
Depending on how other results go, they need to have results go their way.
Well, considering they're one of 12 teams currently fighting for a finals berth, with only 6 points. No,
one of
dead
12
set.
teams. That is unbelievable.
That's it. And if Manly, you want to throw them in there as well, then that's 13. There are literally 13 teams fighting for a top 8 spot at the moment, but only 5 are going to miss out.
Only?
Well, 5 are going to miss out.
Yeah.
But it is extremely tight at the moment.
And I think
could
I
still
called it
happen.
earlier this year. It's going to be the tightest season we've ever seen, and it is 100% happening.
This is probably one of the best seasons in recent memory.
Oh, fucking oath it is.
Look, in front of the home faithful, Origin stars well rested, full strength. As much as the Tigers could try and jag a win, drag them into a street fight like they've done to other sides on previous occasions.
Yeah, no.
The Cowboys are just going to have too much artillery to throw at Tim Sheens. Cowboys win this 13-20.
You read my mind. Exactly the same as you. Cowboys 13-20. They're just going to be too good in front of their home crowd.
Now we have the second NRL edition of the Battle of Brisbane from the Gabba of all places. The first time since the 1950s that a rugby league match has been played at Queensland's premier cricket ground.
Despite what NRL team lists say Suncorp Stadium, it is at the Gabba.
So Broncos versus the Dolphins. The Dolphins have had a couple of reinforcements following their 48-20. anti-hammering at the hands of the Eels. Excuse me. Tessie New returns to the left wing, so try-scoring debutant Braden McGrady drops back to the reserves. Other changes sees Harrison Graham making way for Jeremy Marshall-King, who is set to return from a shoulder complaint. And Cody Nikarima was set to start back from the bench, but will actually start at fullback for this game, with Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow starting in the centres, Valence Tabare maintaining his spot at right centre, which I believe would put Ewan Aiken to the bench.
Well, there you go. You must be reading a different list than what I'm reading.
Well, between the official team list and the updated articles that suggest that, well, say that Hammer will actually be starting from the centres.
Yeah, right here. For the home side, well, we know Reece Walsh will be out because he has been found guilty. So I presume Tristan Saylor's number one.
Yep.
Yep. This is I'm going off by the team list on Tuesday. So, Tom Flegler and Jordan Ricky are out. So Keenan Palacio and Xavier Willison have been put in to replace those two. And otherwise unchanged.
While the Broncos are licking their wounds after that game they should have beaten the Titans in, the Dolphins got cleaned up by the Eels on the Sunshine Coast.
100%. Absolutely thrashed them.
Their left side defensively, and that's why they've moved the Hammer into the centres. They wanted to tighten up their left side defensively after the Eels walked over the top of them with the right-hand side of their attack. And you could see it. Moses and Penasini, along with Cartwright's offloads, were causing all manner of trouble. But it was the damage through the middle of the field that really set the Dolphins back early.
100%. But I thought it would have been a lot closer than what it was to be.
You were thinking because Finn Diesel himself was back on the right edge with Sean O'Sullivan starting out a dummy half.
Not only that, like that was a boost for him, but the way that the Hammer had been playing all year and all that stuff, I thought, oh, yeah.
Well, he still didn't disappoint in this one. He still managed to bag a double.
Has he still got a perfect record of scoring at least every single try he's played for the Dolphins this year?
He's still got a positive record, or with the amount of tries is exceeding the number of games he's played for them.
Yeah, but he's still at least scoring at least one try per game for the Dolphins.
I believe he is.
That's an unbelievable record, is it not?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's neither Moses or Penasini that made it onto the list this week, because I think, for the start, Jermaine Hopgood. I think he's
he's coming on good.
On my standouts list, he's sort of flown under the radar, considering how well you look at Gufferson, or you look at Moses, or you look at Penasini. But Jermaine Hopgood really laid the platform for the Eels in this win right here. One try assist, 159 running meters, 3 tackle breaks, a line break, and an offload. You're looking at the buys of the year for any club.
Hopgood. Easily,
Jermaine Hopgood would have to be the buy of the year. And considering Parramatta got him at a bargain from Penrith. And how well
he was a bit troubled at Penrith, wasn't he?
Not necessarily troubled. He was just stuck behind a very good forward pack.
Yeah, but when he was playing, he was getting into a little bit of trouble, wasn't he, with the judiciary and that? Or am I thinking of someone else? No,
you're thinking of someone else.
I don't know
who. He was just stuck behind a good Penrith system and a good forward pack. Like, his natural position is locked, so ultimately he's not going to get past Isaiah Yeo. And then at the time, you had Viliami Kikau and Liam Martin in the back row, so you weren't going to get past either of those two.
No.
And then your middle rotation, you had Moses Leota, James Fisher-Harris, Scott Sorensen, and Spencer Leniu.
Yeah.
And then you had Coruscant Kenny as the hooker duo. Yeah, very hard to break into.
Yeah, bloody oath it is. And he's gone to Parramatta and
he's just slotted right in there.
Yeah.
He's just slid right in there, and he fits perfectly with that side.
Yeah, 100%. He's been awesome this season. And I hope he keeps that up, though.
He's another one who could easily make an appearance for Billy Slater's Queensland side this year. Or he's in the frame for future Origin talk.
I'd say being a frame for... I don't think he will be this year. Maybe in the future.
But it'd be a very impressive bench Slater would have assembled if he had the luxury of Horsburgh or Hopgood to pick from.
Or maybe even both.
And Parramatta, we talk about sides that have turned it around after shaky starts. Parramatta
Haven't
are
they?
charging.
They are.
They are absolutely charging. Even with Dylan Brown, with his recent troubles with the law, we've got the latest on this right
He's
here.
still under the no fault stand down
So
policy.
this is what the NRL, they have issued an update on that.
As of
exactly. As of today.
Okay.
Hey, this is speaking to the 9 newspapers. The NRL has today confirmed that the no-fault stand-down condition will no longer apply to Dylan Brown following the finalisation of criminal proceedings in Downing Centre Local Court as of today. So,
He's free to play.
not straight away. The NRL Integrity Unit will still have to see about that. They will finalise that, but this is after.
But it's a positive step in the right direction to returning to play.
So, a little bit of context to this. Dylan Brown got smashed one night in early June, and then he sort of felt up a woman without consent. So you wonder why exactly he was doing this.
Mate, they're drunk. Anything can happen. They don't think.
Would you call drunk 15 to 20 drinks over a 6-hour period?
Okay, that's more than drunk.
That is smashed to oblivion.
No wonder he wasn't thinking
How
straight.
is he not cut off? That's what I want to know. If I'm thinking by New South Wales RSA, a responsible service of alcohol, you're talking 20 drinks in 6 hours. That's practically almost 6 drinks in a 3-hour period. And if you want to really get down to it, that's 1 drink every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Who's looking out for him? I'm surprised he didn't pass out from all the drinks.
He could have passed out, but we didn't hear about it.
He was rooted. So, of course, he got charged initially by New South Wales Police with 5 counts of sexual touching in a
5 counts.
a 1-minute window. 5 times.
Oh, shit.
So,
That's bad.
I mean, we shouldn't be laughing at this, but just...
That's bad.
So he's touched a woman.
5 charges in 1 minute. Oh my god.
5 charges, 5 times in 1 minute. In it with this, we shouldn't really.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not get smashed and do not be a football player because you will be in the headlines.
So the police withdrew 3 of the 5 charges, leaving Brown to plead guilty to the remaining 2.
Right.
And they have since handed him. Well, he's going to have an ABO. The woman's probably going to take an ABO out against him.
Well, geez, that's no surprises.
And then there's going to be an 18-month community corrections order. So he's going to avoid jail time.
Fair enough.
Very luckily, he's going to avoid jail time.
I
with
reckon,
this.
Bloody hell. 5 charges from
5 counts
things
of
in 1
inappropriate
minute.
touching
Wow.
in 1 minute, in a quick
Wow.
1 minute window. 5 touches like that. So it's like going one every every 12 seconds, really. He's touching her on.
Pretty much.
But that's just not on. That is just
Nah.
Jesus Christ. Who's looking out for him anyway?
No
That's
one.
what I want to know. See, where's the senior players at Parramatta? Where's
Hey, he could have been out with mates. Parramatta players might not have been involved.
Yeah.
He could have been out with mates for all we know.
Yeah, we could have been, but still, Jesus Christ.
Don't drag his other teammates in it when we don't know the full details. But yeah.
It's funny how we talk about Dylan Brown when it's all about the Dolphins we're meant to be discussing.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, the hammer, it's shining light in the second half, but the damage was already done in the first.
Yeah. I mean, the Dolphins have come back from a 26-point deficit, but they couldn't come back from a 36-point
the Eels
deficit.
were just relentless in the first half. Parramatta were just running in tries for the sake of fun. Long-range efforts, that was the Dolphins' strength. They just tried to find the hammer and put him through on a long-range basis, and it worked for them.
Well, there's really no one that could really hunt down the hammer in Parramatta.
No. The fight back was good in the second half, but they really left it too late with the rate the Eels were going.
Yeah. And a 36-point deficit comeback.
Now, this will be the second time they face Big Brother Brisbane at the Gabba.
Well, the first time at the Gabba, but yeah, the second time they faced off, yes.
Yeah, this is the second NRL era Battle of Brisbane right here. As bad as the Broncos let that game against the Titans slip, I think Tristan Saylor adds another dimension to their attack, and he did a solid job for them in Napier the last time he got called up.
That is true.
I reckon the Broncos bounce back after a disappointing result, 1-6. I think it's going to be another tight result. This could have fireworks.
Well, I'm going to say Brisbane wins this one 7-12. I like to see a close game, but being a neutral venue, I don't know what it's going to be like. So, yeah.
Well, it's another cricket ground atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, you reckon the Gabba could get sold out even though you'd have... Well, I mean, what is it? 52,000 seat capacity, which is on a good day for a test match, or the Ashes, is when the Bobs came out here.
52.
Yeah, I think it's similar size, but considering Gabba, much like the SCG, you'd be further away from the action.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'll be a sellout. It'll still be a healthy crowd, at least 30,000, at least.
Well, I think 35,000 would be a pass mark. I mean, both sides are still in the home city. It's just they've had to move across town.
Yeah. Nah, I say 30,000 would be the best, but yeah, Broncos win this one 7-12.
Now we've got the Canterbury Bulldogs at home to the Newcastle Knights for your Sunday afternoon action.
Newcastle, Dan Gagai is out. He's replaced by Inali Tuwala. Lockie Fitzgibbon is back from concussion, so Dylan Lucas is out, and that's all the changes.
A couple of changes for Cameron Serraldo following that disappointing performance against the Sharks. Carl Olawapu has had a bit of trouble with his shoulder as of late, so he's been ruled out of this game, which leaves Carla Rajab to start at 5'8" in place of Olawapu with no Burton. Harrison Edwards has been included on the bench after overcoming HIA the previous week. Raymond Faitala Mariner has also been included amongst the reserves after being sidelined with illness, and Corey Waddell has been shafted for the best part of Jackson Torpenny to take his place. I shouldn't say best part, but Jackson Torpenny
you're
comes in.
so disappointed about Corey Waddell being left out.
Are you kidding me? That's the best result. Jackson Torpenny. We should have been playing him more.
Corey Waddell's your favourite player, mate. We all know that.
Shut up. He's not. He's far from my favourite player.
It's a running joke. You have not picked up on that. Which knowing you probably haven't.
So the Knights, they have to bounce back, and really time is running out for them.
100%. The Waterbank finals, they kind of really have to kick into gear and start.
They only
winning.
have 2 more buys up their sleeve, if I am not mistaken.
No, they've had 2.
So they've only got
They had the Bali, their so-called Bali trip as their first buy. I think they had one in around Origin too. I could be wrong.
Time is running out for them. They'll get the benefit of the buy after this Sunday.
It still could be. It could be 2 buys left.
No, they only
I'm
got
pretty
one
sure
left.
it's 1. Yeah.
They only got the 1, but this is their run. The final 7 rounds. This is what they're
Bulldogs, Tigers,
West Tigers at home.
Yep.
Melbourne at home. Canberra away. The Dolphins in Perth.
What ground is that at?
Optus Stadium.
Since when was that a game in Perth?
Doubleheader, 2018, round 1.
Huh. I must have missed that.
Second clash against the Dogs at home. Rabbitohs at home. Sharks at home. Then the Dragons Saturday night in Cogra on the 2nd of September.
They've got a good freaking run of home games at the back end of the season.
But you have got possible wooden spoon option number 1 in the Dragons.
Woo!
Wooden spoon option number 2 in the Tigers.
Even more of a woo!
Top 4 hopefuls, Melbourne and the Sharks. Top 8 hopeful, South and the Dolphins. Canberra as well. And the Dogs. We are our own special category at the moment.
Yeah, right smack bang in the middle of wooden spoon and top 8.
Of the wooden spoon factors and the top 8 hopefuls.
Yeah. A special type of breed of dog.
Look.
No pun intended.
This is a game that you really don't want to lose because it could spell disaster. I mean, duh. That's a real duh moment.
Yeah. Well, aren't Newcastle and the Dogs very similar on the ladder?
we're both bottom 4, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Or Knights might be 13th, and considering how the bottom 4 was readjusted to accommodate the team in 17th now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, we're all...
But you're very close to each other on the ladder, so it's... Should be a fairly even contest then.
We're both bottom 4, but the Knights have had the benefit of a draw that keeps them 1 point above everyone else.
The draw, that's all it comes down to, eh?
And look, I think every Dogs fan will be very keen to see how well Rajab goes starting at 5'8". Because
Is he highly rated?
Oh, he's highly rated, believe me. He played for Lebanon last year when they got to the quarterfinals. I think he was playing 5'8" alongside Mitch Moses.
Yeah.
Very highly rated junior. I think there would be a massacre at the front office if they let him go.
Massacre front office.
And look, Kurt Moran starting at lock forward. I think everyone wants to see that as well. And we're getting the reinforcements. The big bench. Edwards, Sutton, Pele, Torpenay. It is a very big bench the Dogs are running with.
But can they get the job over Newcastle, who have been there or thereabouts in some weeks gone by? They just can't seem to finish off games if they are leading, or can't track down,
Goal kicking in recent times has sort of been the Achilles heel, and Jackson Hastings has had, on the record, ankle trouble as well, which has seen his running game sort of quieten down, which you would also suspect impacted his goal kicking.
Yeah, but then why not use Ponga?
I don't know why Adam O'Brien hasn't picked Ponga to kick again.
If Hastings got ankle injury, why make it worse when you got Ponga there? He's quite capable.
It's the Knights. I don't know. I really don't know.
Who knows with them?
But look, I think the Dogs are looking for a big bounce back here. They're at home once again, and
Belmore, Acor.
Yeah, I know. We'll be lucky to get 15,000 out for that game. I mean, that's just the going rate at a core. Just be like, anything greater than 10,000 is good for the Dogs at a core. If it was at Belmore, like we're going to be up against the Broncos in 2 weeks' time,
that is
a sellout. That is a dead set sellout.
Yeah, 100%.
At least I hope it isn't, because I still might want to think about going to that.
Make it quick.
I might already be too late.
No, I don't think it's sold out yet. There's been no.
But you'd figure it'd sell out at 16,990 or so.
Yeah, you never know.
So I just think the Dogs...
I don't think the Knights' record at Acor isn't very good. But then again, they don't play often there, I don't think.
Well, Pong is still going to be suspect if he gets concussed again. I think we all know this. Dom Young, they need to be able to keep him pinned inside the Knights' red zone. They can't afford to let Ed Young get them out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you're going to see a big collective response out of Cameron Serraldo after the last couple of weeks of just getting outgunned by everyone.
Yeah.
So I think the Bulldogs win this one 1-6. I see Rajab doing well at 5'8", while Olawapu gets his shoulder tended to. And I think going with that size on the bench with Sutton and with Pele will do us a whole world of good.
I'm going to go to Dogs for this one at 7-12. I just don't see Newcastle doing very well this weekend.
And finally, to cap off round 18, we have the Manly Sea Eagles at home to the Sydney Roosters. A big in for Trent Robinson. He has the luxury of Joseph Suali'i back on the right flank, but unfortunately they have lost both Satili Tupanua to a season-ending neck injury, and Angus Crichton is yet again ruled out as well.
Hang on, did you say Tupanua out with a neck injury?
Yep.
You mean shoulder?
Well, it was neck, shoulder.
Okay.
So Victor Radley is going to move into the back row. Now Fahu White will start in the back row as well, with Nathan Brown for new lock forward, with Fletcher Baker and Siwa Wong included on the bench.
Roosters, wow. Seagulls, a big inclusion. Jake Tavorovic is back for the first time in a long time. Jason Saab is also back in. Kelma Tuolagi is in. Ben Tavorovic is in. And Brad Parker are all in. Which means Raymond Tua, Marlowe, Vega, Morgan Harper, Sean Kepi, Carl Lawton, and Ben Condon are all out.
those reinforcements for Manly, they could not have been timed any better. To have two of the three Trebojevic brothers back, Jake especially, I think they've really missed him in the middle of the field. And how they set their plays up with him ball playing, they've really missed him at lock forward. But don't get me wrong, Sean Keppie was doing a very good job on his own rights.
Oh, bloody oath he has been. But, yeah, they really have missed that leadership for Jake Trebojevic.
The Roosters have struggled. It's just...
It
has been pain watching the Roosters struggle like this.
Years gone by, this is where the Roosters start putting the foot down and making a charge up the ladder after a slow start. Not this year.
No, I don't
I think
the
Roosters are going to... I'm going to say it now. Roosters are going to miss the finals, the rate they've been playing.
I don't think that's even a controversial opinion to have at this point. I honestly don't. I think for the first time in 10 years, I think this will be the first season Trent Robinson has missed out on where the Roosters have elapsed at the wrong moment where they expected to make the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, this will be the second time he will more than likely miss the finals because we all know 2016 was an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
From the word go, it was a disaster.
Yeah, 100%.
But this will be the first season where Robinson has struggled to get the Roosters into the finals equation.
Which is, I'm going to say unheard of.
It has been.
It's been unheard of for the Roosters.
I mean, look, even though he's had Lindsay Collins, a shining light, Joey Martin, who's kicked up a gear in the last 3 weeks alone, from fullback back to the centres.
This might be a bit controversial in saying this, though. Out of Tedesco and Manu, I think Manu's been a better player than Tedesco this year.
I'm not even mad. I think you're right.
Sorry to say it. Go at me all you want.
No.
But
I don't think anyone else is going to go at you.
I think Manu's been better than Tedesco this season.
Manu's that's not Teddy's fault. That's not Teddy's fault. He's been busting his guts out. It's just it hasn't come
I think
off.
Manu has been carrying the Roosters this year.
Well, Collins, I think. Him and Jared Waerea-Hargreaves have been carrying the Roosters' water this whole year.
Yeah.
And look, they've lost Sam Walker. They lost the Cheese, who... Mixed results about him at the moment.
Yeah, see, the whole question... I thought he was going to be a good signing. Yeah. He hasn't done that.
Well, he wanted to start at dummy half. That was the whole thing. Because he wasn't going to start at Melbourne at dummy half when the Harry Grant was still there. That was never going to happen.
No. But I don't think he's quite an 80-minute dummy half, though.
Well, if he is 80 minutes for New Zealand, then you'd think 80 minutes for the Roosters, but the broken thumb has set him back.
Yeah, I don't know.
Other than that, I think Manly will be very grateful to have a whole host of reinforcements. I think Daly Cherry Evans would very much appreciate having Turbo back in the side. And we'll see what Benny can do if he can get the Jets firing. Manly win at home, 7-12. There's just no other way you can look at this.
Well, you got another speedster back in the side, as in Jason Saab. Brad Parker's back, who's... I don't know what you say.
Underrated. Reliable red.
Reliable red, yeah, and underrated. He's an underrated
and
player.
Tolu Kola just has speed to burn, no question.
Yeah. I'm going to say Manly win this one, let's say 13-20.
And now let's just quickly touch on what happened to State of Origin. I think we really just have to talk about it.
As much as we hate to talk about it, we're going to have to.
So Queensland, 32-6 winners over New South Wales in the men's, whilst the women's, New South Wales win 18-14, but Queensland win the series on aggregate points.
By 4 points. 4 points of difference it was on points aggregate.
Look, it was really the centres I found that dominated Origin for both the men's and the women's. Valentine Holmes for Queensland, 2 tries, 92 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, a line break, and 4 from 6 goals converted, though I do think that first try was a knock-on.
Yeah, 100%.
And Isabel Kelly had a real captain's knock coming back in for the Sky Blues, 173 run meters, 2 try assists, 4 tackle breaks, 3 line break assists, and 3 offloads.
Yeah. Look, I think what cost New South Wales the series for the women's first off is like game 1 in particular, just making too many errors trying to come back from behind, and even trying to extend the lead to try and even get the points aggregate into their favour. It's just too many errors just cost them women's. For the men's, look,
a lot of things went wrong.
A lot of things went wrong. I don't think we had there was some questionable player decisions like selected.
Well,
In
putting
my
the
view.
Blues into putting the Blues case aside, the first try Queensland scored through Valentine Holmes was a knock on, point blank. It was a knock on,
Yeah.
and
But
the
it's
second
Queensland
try
and
was it was a 5-mile forward pass. How could you not see? How could Ashley Klein not see that?
It's Ashley Klein reffing a Queensland Origin match.
State of Origin
in
at
Queensland.
Suncorp Stadium.
Of course he's going to favour freaking Queensland.
I mean, dead set. How forward was that second try?
It was unbelievable. New South Wales got robbed in game 2.
And look, Mitchell Moses, a lot of people were saying, oh, why did you go with Mitchell Moses? You should have gone with Nico Hines.
But Hines hasn't had that experience yet in State of Origin. Mitchell Moses had a one-off game. And now he's got 2. And he did play better than what his first game was for the Blues.
Personally, I said Mitchell Moses is the New South Wales number 2. He's in terms of halfbacks, he is New South Wales number 2.
I'm surprised no disrespect to Mitch Moses. He did what he could do.
He did essentially the same as Nathan Cleary, I heard one.
Adam Reynolds being at Suncorp, I thought I might pick Adam Reynolds. Well, he knows the ground inside out. Being there for the Broncos, but yeah. Oh well.
Nah, just
look. I'm gonna say it now. New Origin series for the Blues next year with the new coach. What are we gonna? Yeah.
Well, I think we can all agree Brad Fittler and James Tedesco are not going to be there come game 1 in Perth.
Well, we know that Fittler will be gone.
Yeah, Freddie's gone. As sad as it is, because in recent years, he's given New South Wales something to cheer about with Origin wins for once, but unfortunately...
Let's go back to, was it 2019?
He just hasn't delivered on all the series. He should be sitting 5 from 6 series win at the moment. We should have won 2020 and last year, hands down, but we haven't.
No.
We just haven't.
Is that because Tedesco's either past his peak, or is it because he's had a lot of expectations put on him? There's a lot of fatigue starting. Well, I know he gets rested and that, but starting to be a bit exhausted.
I don't know.
Carrying
I don't know, but
too much.
Everything just fell apart for the Blues that night. Yeah. And that's probably the second worst Origin game I've seen at Suncorp Stadium since the 2015 decider.
Mm-hmm.
Dead set. Worst game since that point.
Someone I know said that's in all their time watching, like, that's the worst Blues team they've ever seen, in their opinion.
Yeah, look, I think Freddie got a lot of questionable selections, like Tom Trebojevic. Sure, you can't foresee him doing his peck 3 minutes in, but he had a trouble with his hamstring and he just hasn't looked right.
I kind of said that from the start. He shouldn't
and
have
the
been
media picked. Selling Latrell Mitchell as the second coming. Oh, shut up already. He's not the second coming. He couldn't even get fit for game 1.
Yeah.
He wasn't even fit for game 1. Why would you dare pick him again?
I don't know.
And look, everyone says, oh, conspiracy, Campbell Graham, he should have been picked for game 1. Yeah, the bloke pulled out with a sternum injury.
He was picked, but yeah, like you said, injury. I don't know why he didn't get picked for game 2, though.
He should have been picked for game 2. He should have been. And look, they're talking about Hudson Young. Hudson Young played a better game 2 than he did.
People were banging the shit out of him, too.
Look, Hudson Young played a better game 2 than he did a game 1.
Game 1, he was new to the arena, like how big State of Origin is. So, of course, he's not going to be at your best.
And look, he got hooked for Liam Martin pretty early on in the piece as well. You got to remember that.
Fair, yeah.
But look, he played better in game 2. Easily played better with a full 80 under his belt.
100%.
Pangai Jr., yeah, hindsight, that was pretty questionable, all that pick.
What about Tucumano in the second game? What about his pick?
14 minutes. 14 minutes. I don't get it. When you had Paolo
Hines
and Haas...
didn't even play second, or he played very minimal in game 1.
And he was and he wasn't even the 18th man. It was Matt Burton that was the 18th man.
Yeah.
And then, look, you had Coruscant, that rather unfortunate. Origin conspiracy that Tino broke his jaw. Damien Cook, he shouldn't have been thrown into the centres.
No, it should have been Cam Murray.
Frizzell, how would you rate Tyson Frizzell this series?
Look, it wasn't setting the arena on fire, but he was kind of... wasn't doing anything too flash, to be quite honest with you. It's kind of
but doing a job.
Doing a job, yeah. It's just a write-off series for us. I'll be lucky even if we win Game 3. Yes, I know I still have hope for us, but... Yeah,
at the rate Queensland are going, I mean, 3 years ago, we're bagging the side out, but now, that little Billy Slater magic that he's got with JT and Cam Smith as his assistants,
yeah,
there is another Origin dynasty brewing.
Well, someone
And
was
it's
saying
going
we
to
won't
be
see
coated in maroon once again.
Well, they say that there's not going to be another 8 years or whatever it is in a row, but you don't know that. Depending on who our coach is going to be next year.
You'd have to really look at it, but we'll talk more about where we think the Blues will end up going in future podcasts, I would have to say. The women, they need to
go to 3 games to make it
I
even.
reckon there will be a push within the next 2 years to go for it. And I've even heard talks in the Herald, in the Newcastle Herald, the Lord Mayor wants to bring women's Origin to Newcastle. And that she's written with a Townsville counterpart about trying to get that set up as well.
Yes, I was just about to say Townsville and Newcastle kind of trying to get
They've joined forces to try... And considering that you had 18,000...
Which was a record for the women's state Origin.
Well, it broke the previous record from Game 1 when it was 13,000.
And I think that broke the record of Canberra last year.
Which then broke the previous record set at both the Sunshine Coast and North Sydney Oval all over the past couple of years.
Exactly, so it's just keep breaking records. And it's very good to see that, though.
Yeah, so Queensland, complete the Origin double. There's just nothing you can really do at the moment.
No, instead of suffer like Dragon supporters, suffer.
No, suffer like New South Wales supporters. Like every other year when we were growing up watching Queensland win the series.
True, and we listen to those whinging bastards carry on for the next 12 months.
No, we're the whinging bastards. We're the ones that carry on for the next 12 months.
Well, you know the ones, not the
whinging
bastards.
The smug Queenslanders that go sit there and it's like, haha, plebs, you don't get Origin. Yeah. It means more to us than it does to you.
That's the one I was trying to get at. The smug ones.
But you got to admit, they do have an element of truth in that.
They do.
But we just don't want to hear it from them.
No, we certainly don't.
But on that note, that's everything to do with NRL Week 18. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break with your Betfred Super League Week 17 debrief. Are Warrington again on the slide? Can Castleford put back-to-back wins together? And what the hell happened at Headingley? We'll answer all those questions after this short break.